Hello students, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jagdeep. In this video series, we are learning about supply. In our previous video, we talked about perfectly elastic and perfectly inelastic supply. This video shall focus on factors influencing price elasticity of supply. So without wasting any time further, let's get started. The first factor that affects price elasticity of supply is time period. For all those people who've just landed on this video first, it will be better that you understand what price elasticity of supply is and then move on to what are the various factors that influence price elasticity of supply. Now, when we talk about time period, we have basically two different time periods that would impact the price elasticity of supply. Let's jot that down. So, the first segment is short run. I'm going to write in short forms. However, you are not allowed to write in short forms in your exams. So, in short run, supply generally would be inelastic because it is very difficult for firms to quickly respond to the changes in price and adjust their production levels. So, that is difficult in the short run time frame, making the price elasticity inelastic. Okay, I'll write why it is inelastic, because firms are less responsive to price changes. However, in the long run, the supply would be more elastic since it is able to respond more. So, it is more responsive. It is possible for firms to adjust their productive capacities, to adjust their resources. If they are falling short on resources, they can purchase new resources, hire more people to work, get them skilled, and hence increase the productivity and are then capable of responding to changes in the price. The next is availability of inputs. So, when we talk in terms of availability of inputs, we are basically focusing upon how easy or difficult it is for a firm to look and arrange for the resources or inputs. Alright. So, if inputs are easily available, as in they are of general nature and could be located and procured easily from within the local regions, then it will be easier for the firm to be more responsive to price changes, and hence the price elasticity would be elastic. Alright. So, if it is easily available, the PES would be elastic. Why is it elastic? I have already written the reason. It is more responsive. Alright. And if the inputs are of special nature, or probably they are specialized inputs, or probably they are customized inputs, then they will be difficult to procure from local regions, and hence the elasticity of supply would be inelastic, making them less responsive to the price changes. The third point is spare capacity. We are talking in terms of the productive capacity. So, when we talk about spare capacity, we are basically focusing on the unused productive capacities of the firm, of the industries. Alright. So, if there is spare capacity, if it is available, it will be easier for the firm to respond to price changes, and hence PES would be elastic. However, if the firm is already operating at full capacity and we don't have any spare capacity, in those scenarios it will be unavailable, and hence the elasticity of price, and hence PES would be inelastic. The fourth category is nature of commodities. So, we are talking in terms of how durable or how perishable is the commodity. The more durable it is, the better it would be for the firm to respond, because it will be possible for the firms to hold the stock of these commodities. So, they are more responsive since they can hold the stock. So, stocking is possible, and hence it is elastic. Price elasticity of supply is elastic. The same does not hold for perishable goods, because you cannot stock them, you have to sell them out. So, cannot stock, and hence they cannot be very responsive to price changes, making the price elasticity of supply inelastic. The fifth factor is natural factors. So when we talk about natural factors, we are focusing on the nature. So rain, climate, soil, natural calamities, all of these factors come under natural factors. So if the production is dependent on natural factors, it is very difficult for a firm to adjust in accordance to the price changes, because obviously nature cannot work in the same rhythm as the changes in price. So they are less responsive to price changes and hence inelastic. The supply is inelastic. And if it is more tilting towards the manufacturing segment, that means it is not dependent that much on the nature, then it is possible to increase the productivity when prices rise and hence making it more responsive, making the PES elastic in nature. Alright, apart from that, there are several other factors that would influence the price elasticity of supply. I'll just quickly jot them down as well. Students, if you're finding topics like these challenging, I also provide tutoring sessions that delve deeply into these subjects. I'm also currently working with students from various countries, and I would love to encourage you to reach out to me directly at the number displayed on the screen. You could take advantage of a free 30-minute session with me and we could tackle these challenges together. Let's take a look at these other factors. So the first segment is cost of production. Let me write it over here. I'll write it as number 6, cost of production. So when we talk in terms of cost of production, how slow or fast it is increasing when you increase the production would affect the elasticity. So if cost of production increases fast with an increase in production, that would make it difficult for producer to increase the productivity and hence less responsive to price changes, making the elasticity of supply inelastic. However, if the cost of production does not increase, is not increasing fast, so if it does not increase fast, so increase is not fast, with an increase in production, that would make the producer more responsive to price changes. It will be easier for him to increase his productivity, making the price elasticity of supply elastic. Alright. Another segment would be techniques of production, let us say. So when we talk about techniques of production, we could say if the technique of production is simple, as in does not involve a lot of complex processes, it will be easier for the producer to respond to price changes. Alright, so simple production techniques would make it more responsive to price changes and hence the price elasticity of supply would be elastic. But if it is a complex production process, there are numerous segments to the production process, altering it with regards to the changes in price might be very difficult and hence it would make the productivity less responsive to price changes, making the PES, price elasticity of supply, inelastic. Finally, we could also talk about the mobility of factors of production. So if the factors of production like labor and capital, if they can move easily between one industry to another or one use to another, alright. So if mobility is easy, then the producer can be more responsive to price changes and hence the supply elasticity would be elastic. But if it is difficult for the factors of production to move from one industry to another or from one use to another, if it is difficult, then the producer would be less responsive and hence the elasticity of supply would be inelastic in nature. With this, students, we are done with supply chapter. We'll be beginning with market structures from our next video onwards. Students, if you find my videos useful, you could also share my videos with your friends so that even they can get the necessary help whenever needed. Also, to support my channel, you could use the super thanks button below. Your contributions are essential for me to continue teaching and creating educational content for students globally. I would really like to thank you for all the support that you render. If you find learning through long videos daunting, you could also follow me over my Instagram channel. Alright students, so I'll meet you again. Until then, bye now. Take care.